All right, hello everyone. Once again, this is Mr. Harris coming back to you all with the read aloud. I missed you all last week. I do apologize. I just started back working with the kids, so things start catching up with me. But I have a book for you all this week that I think will be very, very exciting for a lot of people. For me personally, I never heard of an HBCU college until I actually went to college myself. So I want to be able to I want to be able to let younger people hear about historically black colleges earlier than what I was able to hear about them when I was actually coming up. Like I say, I've never heard about historically black college until I actually got to college. I believe that was way too late because I think I would have went to a historically black college before I actually went to the school that I went to. So I'm reading a book that's actually called HBCU Proud, and it's by an alumni from a historically black college, which is Clark Atlanta University. That college is CAU. I'll say that again, Clark Atlanta University. And the author of this book is Yvette Mans. I want you all to know that this book is very, very interesting. It's very good. I want you all to listen to it. Let your kids listen to it because HBCUs are very important, and HBCUs are what's going to change the perspective of what our black kids hear and see about in their futures. All right, here we go. HBCU Proud. I guess I'll look around and entertain myself, I sighed. I was still half asleep from our early morning drive that lasted for hours, just to wait forever in the lobby of this building. Hang on a sec. I'm almost done here in the alumni office. Why don't you take a look at the photographs on the wall? Untrue suggested, as she buckled up her purse. I walked aimlessly, then stopped to focus on one photograph. I gazed at the image of the older man with a long handlebar mustache and a patch of hair covering his chin. The quote underneath the portrait read, "Strive for that greatness of spirit that all measures the life, not by its disappointments, but by its possibilities." What did this man mean by the spirit? How old is this guy? He must be 100 years old by now. I can't imagine being remembered for words I said one time. Are you ready to explore the HBCU campus? She asked. I like when Auntie True called me cute. It made me feel special, different, unique. Q is her nickname for me because I have the same name as her brother, who is my dad. My grandpa has the same name, and so does his father. And then there's me, William J. Evans, the fourth. The Q is short for quadruple, which is the number of the times this name has been used in my family. What is an HBCU? I asked. I usually enjoy traveling with Untrue on school breaks, but why bring me to another school when I was on vacation from my own school? Untrue answered, HBCU means historically black college or university. A long time ago, black people didn't have options to get an education. So HBCUs were started so we could have a place to call home. Of course, there are tons to choose from, but I only choose the best for my family, and that's Legacy University. Maybe one day you'll be a student here and keep the HBCU tradition going. We'll see, I shrugged and peered around to take in all the sights and sounds. Right here, it actually says Legacy University, and this says where the spirit of greatness lives. The people look so different here. Everybody had their own style. Some students looked like they were going to a business meeting. Other students looked like they had on Legacy University t-shirts with some nice kicks. I watched a group of students wearing different colors as they talked and laughed with each other. The students also had on all kinds of hairstyles: braids, locks, long hair, short hair, bald heads, low fades, twisty hairstyles, and tall fros. But these people all had one thing in common. They moved swiftly as soon as the tall clock on the watchtower chimed at 9 o'clock. I needed to keep close to Untrue so I didn't get swept away in the wave of people. We marched over to the student center where a guy with a black and red shirt waved us down. Did this guy know us, or is he just really friendly? Untrue read my thoughts and explained, "That's my old classmate, DeMarcus. He works here at the university and he will show us around before his lunch break." "Trudy," he exclaimed as his arms extended, "you haven't aged since we were on the yard." "Well, Marcus, it's great to see you again too," she cheerfully responded as she flipped her braids over her shoulder to embrace her longtime friend. "I go by True now. No need to call me by my full name. And speaking of names, this is my nephew Q." "What's going on, young brother?" DeMarcus said as he shook my hand. "You can call me Marcus too." Untrue looked at me with a straight face as I replied, "Nice to meet you, Marcus. This is a sharp young man, True," Marcus chuckled. "He's got a firm handshake and good manners." I smiled politely, stood up straight, and fixed my collar. Marcus continued, "Let's start our tour before the lunchtime rush." I nodded my head in agreement. I liked Marcus. He was funny, nice, and smart. He had to be smart if he noticed how sharp I am. Plus, he graduated from Legacy University and used to play in the marching band. He told me he played the horn just like I do. The three of us toured the campus, starting inside the School of Business. Marcus told us that students were studying how to be entrepreneurs, people who start their own businesses. He felt like we walked 100 miles. Everywhere we went, people were hard at work and focused on their lessons. We weaved in and out of the College of Education, the Research Center, the Media Department, the Social Work Building, the Arts Department, and the Financial Aid Office. It was all a blur. You know the building we just stepped out of? That's where you go to pay for your classes and claim your scholarships. Scholarships? I didn't know what that word meant. I must have looked confused because Untrue added, "It means free money for college, and you can earn now by getting good grades." Writing essays, your sports skills, or volunteering, Q. "Don't forget about the band scholarships," Marcus interjected, "marching in place and playing an invisible trumpet." That's how I made my way through Legacy University. Just as Marcus reminded us of his musical talent, the beat of "Not Too Far Away" drums echoed through the air. "Can we see the band practice?" I asked hopefully. Marcus replied, "Sure, it's on the way to the cafeteria, our final stop on our HBCU tour today." We climbed up the steps of the bleachers and sat on the hot metal seats. We watched and listened to the band rehearsing on the football field. The band director blew his whistle and swirled his hands above his head. I imagined myself playing my horn on the field one day in a uniform with shiny buttons just like theirs. We left the football field stadium and headed down the sidewalk, passing by the dorms. I couldn't believe the kids slept and lived at school by themselves. That must be fun, I pondered. After a long, hot trek, we arrived at the student center and to the cafeteria. Are you hungry, young brother? Marcus asked. I'm so hungry. I could eat a horse. Marcus replied, sorry to inform you, but they don't serve horse in the calf. He chuckled and looked at Untrue, but it is Friday, so you know what that means. Fried Fish Friday. Untrue and Marcus answered in unison. Wow, Untrue gushed. It makes my heart happy to see our beloved Legacy University still standing strong and just as great today as it was back when we were in school. Some things never change. Actually, true, Marcus replied, some things do change. Take a look at the neighborhood around the campus, Untrue asked. Take a look at around the neighborhood around the campus, Untrue asked. What happened to the old apartment buildings down the street? Luxury townhouses. What about the corner store where we grab snacks? An organic supermarket. The park where we used to shoot hoops? A fenced-in dog park. How about the wing spot where we would get a quick bite to eat? A fancy coffee shop. Look, Marcus, change is a good thing. The students at Legacy University need better living options around them, Untrue insisted. I agree, True, Marcus responded, but no one's ever bothered our campus until now. It makes me wonder why there's so much interest in our neighborhood all of a sudden. Every day I see more and more construction projects around our HBCU campuses. This side of town has never been touched. Now it's changing so much. It was such a beautiful day. We grabbed our lunches and had a picnic under the shade of a tall oak tree. Students called this place the Quad. Others called it the Yard. But for me, it was the perfect spot for me to enjoy my catfish sandwich, French fries, salad, lemonade, and peach cobbler. Why do you care about the construction so much, Marcus? I asked. And between bites, getting back to my mouth full of food, but this time, she just smiled at me as I covered my mouth with my hand. I continued, what's the big deal about construction in the neighborhood? Well, Q, you look around. You see this land we're sitting on? This is hallowed ground, meaning it's special. It holds our HBCU history and tradition. The students and graduates are HBCU proud, and our experience is more than just students going to classes, step shows, homecomings, parties, or football games, even though those things are fun to do. Historically Black colleges and universities represent the strength of people who had to find a way or make one. Some HBCUs, he continued, began towards the end of slavery. Black people needed places to get an education, whether it's in agriculture, mechanics, teaching, nursing, history, religion, the list goes on and on. The possibilities were endless, but resources weren't. Very well slated, my friend, Untrue replied, while giving him a fist bump. She turned and looked at me. I must agree with you. HBCUs are necessary today more than ever. I'm gonna read that again. HBCUs are necessary today more than ever, she explained. Do you remember those students we saw earlier? Those young people are leaders of tomorrow. HBCUs are a breeding ground for some of the best doctors, teachers, scientists, musicians, athletes, writers, actors, entrepreneurs, and trailblazers the world has yet to see. I wonder why Aunt True and Marcus love this school so much. I finally figured out why Aunt True brought me here. I get it now, I exclaimed. It wasn't just about all the fun things and cool people I saw here today. It was about the spirit of former slaves, the spirit of revolutionaries, the spirit of everyday people, the spirit of greatness. That's why everyone here is HBCU proud. I'm glad you get it, young brother, Marcus replied. It's just about this time for me to return to work and die. I looked over at Marcus' shoulder and couldn't believe what I saw approaching from the distance. Beep, beep, beep. The sound of construction truck backing into the front gate of the Legacy University interrupted him mid-sentence. Oh no, I gasped. They were trying to tear away a part of the HBCU's land. Hey, you can't have our school. This land represents tradition, legacy, and pride. The construction workers tied a chain around the statue and yanked it out of the ground. The golden statue was identical to the man with the spirit quote from the painting in the alumni office. I raised my hand to get his attention and shouted, "Stop!" The truck froze. The driver parked his vehicle and I leaped down from his seat. I marched over to him on the ground that generations of leaders walked on before I did. Hey kid, chill out, he bargained as he chewed his gum with his mouth open. No one's messing with your school. You see that statue over there? He pointed to where he had started his work. We're moving it closer to the front gate. Some lady who graduated from here donated a bunch of money this morning. So the statue's getting a new location where everyone can see it, he exclaimed. Are you sure about that? I eyed him suspiciously. Scout's honor, he replied, smacking his gum. Untrue called over to me saying goodbye to Marcus. Before we strolled to the car, I looked behind to see the construction worker. He gave us a salute and watched him deliver his promise to move the statue to the middle of the campus. On our drive home in the car, the sky turned orange and the trees on the side of the road became a blur. Untrue broke the silence and whispered, I'm proud of you, Q. Me? Why? I asked curiously. Is it because you think I love Legacy University like you do? No, it's because you stood up for what you believed in. You're bold and you fought for what was important to you, Untrue replied. Thanks, Untrue, I smiled. Sorry to break it to you, but I don't know if I'll go to Legacy University when I get old enough. It's too early for me to decide. One thing is for sure though, I'm definitely attending the HBCU. Untrue winked at me through the rearview mirror. As sleep fell over me, I thought about the people in the pictures, the students I saw today, and of course, the man on the statue. I wonder what my future will be like, where I will live, where I'll go to college, or even what I'll do for a living. But I know one job I will have, and that's to continue the family tradition of being HBCU proud. That is our story, HBCU proud. I hope y'all enjoyed this story as much as I did. Like I said before, I didn't get a chance to understand what an HBCU was or what historically black college was until I got until college. I'm reading this story so that we can share this with our younger people now so that they actually understand the meaning behind the HBCU experience. Great colleges to be a part of. It's what we need as Black Americans. So I hope you all enjoyed this book. Once again, thank you, Yvette Mans, for making this book. And I hope to see you all soon. Once again, HBCU proud. See you all next time. Thank you.